Oh, hello, business owners. I'm here again this week. This is the second week I'm doing a live, so I'm really excited about that. I have missed doing these lives with you. In all honesty, I love doing them. I love the questions. I love the interaction, and I really enjoy just being here and being present with you in this space and in this community, because it's not often that we can really share times like this and have almost like one-on-one conversations with each other. So before I begin, I'm just going to just double check that I have actually gone live, and it's not just saying I've gone live without actually doing it. And then I'm just going to quickly just check the sound. Beautiful. I am live there as well. I'm just going to pop my phone up here just to make sure that if you do have comments, I can actually see them coming up. So on this live, what we're going to talk about today is 5 reasons inclusive language is essential in your business. Now, I did write a blog on this earlier this week, but if you are not a blog person, totally get it. I'm not necessarily a blog person either. I like to write them. However, I don't like to read them very much. But if you do some kind of video for me and put them in there, I will most likely watch that video. So I'm going to do it in video form too, for those people who do like to watch those videos. So if you're watching along, please say hello. I am very happy to have you here with me. All right, let's start off with the first reason that inclusive language is essential in your business. The first, probably most obvious one, is it actually signals safety. And if you are part of a marginalized community, or if you're not sure how marginalized people quite often work, we are always scanning for safety. It's very difficult to navigate a online business spaces and online landscape in general. It can be quite difficult to navigate that with all the systemic barriers in place, all the racism, all the kinds of different discriminations that are in place. And in business, in the whole world of online business, there are lots of discrimination and lots of exclusionary practices, strategies, thoughts, ideas, ideologies that all are in and built into everyday mainstream and traditional business systems, structures, practices, processes. So what we try to do is we look for the little signals that tell us, give us a green flag. I don't have my green flag with me. Give us a green flag that maybe, just maybe, you are safe for us to engage with and a safe business space for us to exist in. Now, that doesn't mean you use inclusive language and then boom, we're like, oh, yep, you're safe. That's not how it works. How it works is if there is a green flag in place, it allows you a little more time to prove even further that you're a safe space. So it just allows us to stay and stick around a little bit longer and check you out. However, if you're not using inclusive language or you are actually using exclusive or discriminatory language, then often it is, okay, that's end of my time with you, goodbye. So this is one really great reason that inclusive language is essential. And from my own experience, as someone who is marginalized, especially as an Aboriginal person, if you are not presenting to me straight away in the way that you're using your language in your content, that you aren't aware of the systems and you're not aware about privilege, you're not aware that inclusive language exists, or that marginalized people even exist, if you don't have something in there or you're not sharing things like your values for inclusion, the likelihood of me hanging around is not very high. And that comes from experience where it is, I've invested time in businesses and they haven't shown me very quickly where they stand with those kinds of things. And I have either been hurt in that process or I've been very, very disappointed through that. So I don't want to waste my time with people who aren't willing to share openly and willingly their own value systems and where they sit with each of these things. So having inclusive language can really help to get people to stay with your content longer, or provide you more time, or invest more time in you to show how you can help them. And that's what we really want. We really want more attention on our stuff so that we can capture is not the right word. So we can, the word has escaped my mind, but intrigue those people who do have the problems that we can solve. The next one is, it deepens your connection with your audience. This is one thing I would love for you to really walk away with from this. Inclusive language is not just about inclusion of marginalized people. Inclusive language is about understanding your niche, which includes marginalized people, to a deeper level, where you can actually talk to their experiences. You understand the pains that they're going through, the struggles, the challenges that they are going through, but you also understand where they want to get to. What is that thing that they want to move towards? What's their end goal for them? You understand them deeply. And it's because of inclusive language. It allows you, when you have inclusive language, you first have to listen. And you have to listen deeply. When you listen deeply, this deepens your understanding of those people. When you deepen your understanding of those people, you can really provide great, deep transformations amongst those people. You are able to connect with them in a way that resonates so greatly with them. They will start to feel like you absolutely understand what they're going through. And when they feel like you understand and you can connect with them on such a deep level, they have a level of trust in you that you can solve their problems, because you actually know what they're talking about, and they have trust in you that you can understand, you can see the problems, you know where they want to get to, and also you're saying you've got this transformation, this way of helping them. So it is really, really important that inclusive language is, one, about deep listening, and then two, about sharing that so it connects deeply with your audience and with your niche. Number 3, it sets you apart in a crowded market. I don't know about you, but when I look around the online space, business space, there is so much generic stuff. Generic. Yes, we're all busy. Yes, we all want freedom. Yes, we all want to have a little bit more spaciousness and time. Yes, there's so much stuff that is just so generic that basically everyone who sees it's like, yeah, that is me. But it's not to a point where you go, wow, that really is me. Those are the thoughts I've been thinking. Yes, those are the challenges I've been experiencing in my real everyday life. Yes, those are the things I have Googled. Yes. So when it's generic, people don't resonate with it. And when it's generic, people don't have trust that you can solve their problems, because there is no evidence that you're giving that shows them that you understand what they're experiencing. And we don't want to pay people for their services or their products if we're not convinced that they actually can help us. So it actually helps set you apart, because when you start talking inclusively and you start sharing your values openly, you start including marginalized people in the things that you're talking about, it's going to resonate with those people who hold those same values, who do also believe in inclusion, but also the stuff you say in your content and whatever you're promoting, it actually deeply resonates with your niche deeply. So people will click onto that and go, whoa, this is something powerful. It is absolutely magnetic. Okay, the next thing it does, it reduces harm, even if it is unintentional harm. And this is the type of harm that probably happens the most from what I have witnessed in my spaces, because I have found that most people want to be kind. Most people want to be compassionate. Most people want to be inclusive and support positive social change and support marginalized people and all those kinds of things, all those kinds of lovely things. There is a big problem because even though you have those intentions, the system, the way culture operates, and the way we have been taught to talk, to do business, to behave, to receive people, to express ideas, all those kinds of things, we've been taught to do it in certain ways. And those certain ways were built by design to marginalize and exclude people. And so even though we have intentions, really beautiful intentions, a lot of those things which seem normal, or you are not able to recognize whether it's harmful or not, are being used, but it is actually impacting marginalized people. So if you don't want to be harming marginalized people, even if it's unintentionally harming, this is when getting and knowing about inclusive language can be really helpful to your business, in your copy, in your sales pages, when you're just speaking in general. When you have a good grounding in inclusive language, you can avoid harming people. And so if you do want to learn a little bit more about this, stay to the end, because I've also got a freebie. I will pop it in the chat in a moment, because I tried to put it in the description, but it deleted the whole description and I didn't have time to rewrite another one. But I do have a freebie available for you if you do, and this is one of the reasons that a lot of business owners really come to me, and it is the fact that they don't want to cause harm. So if this is you as well and you want to start that process of understanding inclusive language and what it looks like in the online business space, this freebie is for you. Let me just pop it in the chat box here. Here's a link to it. It's a free guide. Now you will need to sign up to my email list to get it. It is a gated freebie, but it is something that can get you started with that and understanding it a little bit more. And also, if you don't want to be on my email list, that's totally fine. Go sign up, grab it, leave. That's totally cool. I've got a little support automation afterwards as well for you if you do stay signed up to my mailing list. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Number 5 is it builds legacy you can be proud of. So, and this is actually what I was talking with my Inclusion Creators Collective members today about as well. It's more when you are using inclusive language, you start to create a legacy, not just for your business, but beyond it as well. So when you are starting to use inclusive language and making people feel seen, valued, heard, respected, cherished, and like they actually belong in that space, you have thought about them, you care about them, and you have created a space where it's just normal and natural for them to be and exist in safely, then it's something you can be really proud of. It impacts how they feel. It impacts them as people, because there is a space where they can go and they feel like they belong. It's not a space that is built in the same way all these other status quo carbon copy businesses are built. It's one that actually recognizes that marginalization exists, oppression and privilege exist, and it's being acknowledged. And in this space, it is a space where marginalized people are safe to exist and can be centered and can feel like they're welcomed and belong and can feel safe enough to speak and participate in those spaces. So that has a massive impact to those individuals who come into your spaces. Not only that, it is a great role modeling for anyone else who's observing the way you do business. So when you do business, quite often, and the people that I normally work with are people who are connected with and also coach and mentor other businesses as well. So when you role model how business can be done differently, how it can be done inclusively, and how you can use your language in a way that is purposely and intentionally inclusive, this is something that really grows in their minds and makes them think it's possible to do business differently. We don't have to do it this one way. And quite often spaces will say, this is the only way, this is the only way, this is the only way. But in your space, you can show them with your language how that space can be different, that it's possible to do business differently. You don't have to compromise on your values. You can make marginalized people feel welcome in your spaces. You can do it from this real space of ethical integrity. And that really does something to people. Quite often we're so busy doing all the things, right? And when we're busy doing all the things, our mind quite often doesn't wander into spaces beyond our paradigm, beyond what we already are experiencing, into spaces of unknown and wonder. But when you are existing and sharing your business in a way that makes them see how it can be done differently, that can change a person, because it then comes down to a choice. There's not just one choice anymore. There's now another choice. And they aren't the only choices. I'm not saying there's only two choices. That's not a real thing. But you're showing them another way to do it. And so then, therefore, they have a choice of doing things a little bit differently for themselves as well. And last but not least, with that, the last point I want to emphasize with this one is that even if your business closes down, the impact that you would have had amongst those people, amongst your viewers and people who were witnessing, amongst yourself, in your community, it is creating ripples. So even if your business closes down, the ripples have been created. The new thought patterns have been created. The new ways of doing things have been created. You've created some kind of energy and movement just from changing the way you do your language. So it's not just about having and running a business and selling your services or buying your products. It now also means you're doing that and you're thriving doing that, which is amazing. You're sharing your wisdom and skills and whatever it is that you are offering, you're here to do and to serve. That's what you're doing. But there is also this beautiful part of it, which is impact driven, change making. You are also showing up in a way that is creating positive social impact simultaneously, just by the way you're doing business, your everyday business. It's not an add-on, it's the way you do your business. So I hope that you've enjoyed those 5 reasons why inclusive language is essential in your business. If you do have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the comments, or you can DM them to me as well. Now, as I said, I was going to talk about that freebie that I have. Now, it is something that can help you get started with inclusive language in business. It is a free guide that I have available. Like I said before, you will need to opt in and join my mailing list. However, if these values and this really resonates with you, my list is probably a place you'd want to be anyway. So that link I have already put in the chat box, and I will pop in the description after I finish this live. But it is, what it does is it looks at different marginalized communities and gives examples of some exclusionary type of language that is used quite often in those industries or around those marginalized communities, and then also gives an inclusive version of it as well. So it's something that can start your awareness around what is inclusive language and what's exclusionary language in there. And then If you're loving that, but you feel like you're already a little bit along the way in terms of understanding inclusive language, there is also additional support that I can offer you as well, which has tailored support, and it is in the Inclusion Creators Collective. So it's the collective I already mentioned earlier in this video, and it's a place where socially conscious business owners, business leaders come, where they can learn about inclusive business practices and strategies and processes. Everything I offer in there is customizable to business. So nothing is a this is how you must do it kind of thing. I give processes. So you don't have to go, oh no, what do I do? Where do I start? I give it step by step on what's the next thing that you can do to make your business inclusive. It's not about doing an overhaul and just changing everything. It's not about looking back and having to change anything that you have done in the past. What it is acknowledging, okay, this is where we're at. Okay, what's one thing we can do? Okay, now you're done. What's the next thing that we can do? And just going from there. It's a space where you can learn what those inclusive business practices and processes and strategies are. And so for any future stuff, you can build it based on that stuff. Like I said before, inclusion is not an add-on onto business. That's not what inclusion is. Inclusion in business is a way of doing business. It is a whole complete business system. So it is the way you show up. It is in the way you talk. It is in the way you share your images. It is in the way you use your language. It is in the onboarding system. There are so many parts to inclusion in business. So if you are wanting to grow or scale a business with inclusion woven through your entire business, so it's not tokenistic, it's not performative, it's not just on the surface stuff, it's actually what's happening inside and outside of your business, then the Inclusion Creators Collective is a great space where you can actually get support. There you get teachings. I'll teach you there. I'll share everything that I have with you. You get resources and tools, and as I said before, processes and frameworks that you can do. You'll have opportunities to jump on lives with me and do Q&A sessions, so we can talk specifically about what you're working on and your business, and I can give you really tailored advice from that. And it's a space where it's okay for us to become aware of our biases and unpack privilege in a space where it's really gentle and there's no shame, no judgment involved in it. So if you're interested in the Inclusion Creators Collective, I would love to have you come into it. If you have questions about it, again, pop it in the chat, or you can DM me as well. It's an amazing space, a very amazing space. Just before I did a webinar on inclusive audience growth. The theme for this week is audience growth, and next week I'll be doing one on inclusive lead magnets. So I have themed weeks in the Inclusion Creators Collective, and I offer some education, some bias stuff, and just a space where people can really start to embody inclusion through their business. So it stands alongside your value system, and it starts creating that impact and legacy in your business as well. So that is all we have for today. Thank you so much if you're watching this live. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate that you are open and willing to listen and learn how to make your business more inclusive. You are going to change the world. Much love. Bye for now.